Okay, let's get to it. Let's do some sculpting, or get some modifications to be more precise. I will use this mesh for now. I've explained that I don't necessarily enjoy having this in the end, but this is a very practical topology. Well, somewhat practical. I shouldn't say very. It can be done better, but it works. It works fine. The things that I want to do first is I want to create some poly groups, and this is purely for my personal preference. I'm going to explain it why exactly in just a sec. Okay, so the reason why I do it is because I tend to get distracted by things that they are complex. That's the best way I can, I guess, put it. What I mean by that is that, to me, the head and the face is a whole universe in itself. The same goes for the hands and somewhat for the feet. So they are super complex. Everything here is moving. They, for example, the hands, right? The fingers, for example, they are separate. They can move individually. They can bend in different ways. The face is just moving everywhere. Even the ears can move. And same goes for the feet, right? So this, to me, it's very complex. Those things, not just functionally, but the function created the kind of shapes that are distracting, to me at least. That's why I want to isolate when I do some proportion work. If I want to see just what the body looks like, right? This way, I mean, it's definitely helps to put everything together when we are finalizing things, but for the time being, I definitely prefer working on something like that. We can see just when we remove all of that, we can see just how simple it is, really, right? The silhouette is not that interesting. With all of that additional in place, it becomes somewhat more balancing. But if I do hide everything, I think I can have a little bit more room to play with. Just make it a little bit more interesting without getting lost in the other shapes. So anyway, that's the first thing that I would do. And the next thing is see if I can match it to one of the images on the reference. So I'm going to zoom in on this photo. Get back into ZBrush. I'm gonna turn on the perspective. Here it's hard for me to tell what kind of well, it's impossible for me to tell what kind of lens it was used. I'm not a professional when it comes to photography, so I'm mostly eyeballing when it comes to his actual height, right? But I just want to be somewhere in the ballpark when it comes to his height. So if we match the feet and the head, we can see that something is something is off. The model, the ZBrush model, is somewhat miniature. If we look at the length of the arms, for example, if I was to bring them to the body, close to the body, they would be the tips of the fingers. They would be probably somewhere in here, right? So the length of the arms is not correct. The head is very small. So basically, even though everything here is matching, even the length, or I guess the height of the shoulders is matching with the photograph underneath. This is just it doesn't mean that everything is correct. It just means that now the task is to, well, modify some things to make the model look like the person that we're making. So in this case, in our case, we need to make the the arms not only longer but just bigger in general. The width of the hands, the width of the fingers needs to be bigger. The head needs to be bigger. He needs to be just a little bit wider. So we need to maintain the overall length of the model while not necessarily bulking things up, but widening things up, making things just bigger within the constraint of the height. So to me, the body, the underlying body, the one that I'm trying to capture, is a bit. I don't want to. I don't know. I don't really have any other way to describe it. So I'm just gonna use it the way I see it. I guess it's kind of boxy. Right, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just the way that the body is structured, and this also helps with the selling of the height as well, because it's something somewhat, this kind of structure is somewhat common of people who are not very tall. So this helps a lot. See, if I remove the head, this is we no longer see this character. We actually see, I would say, we don't see Lex just yet, but I think he's closer to this person, right? If compared to this. So this is why I also not sometimes, but I always isolate the head when I'm working on the body, so things don't get in my way, and I can focus on something that I have in front of me. And at this stage, it's the body first. It's the body, and then it's going to be the head. Thankfully, there was only one time where I when I was making a celebrity and I was using a base mesh that had all the parts of the human body, so genitalia. That was a strange experience, but this is pretty strange as well, knowing that I'm working on a person who actually exists, and I'm smoothing the ass on the model and trying to make it look nice and soft. This is pretty wild. Okay, so that's good. Definitely we'll need to clean up the trace of the underwear in here. Very simple thing to do. It's just smoothing and some clay brushes. We need to clean up some of this as well. Not that big of a deal, because there's going to be clothing, and this the way we construct the folds in here doesn't really affect the simulation of the clothing in Marvelous Designer at all, almost. It kind of does, but not in a very drastic or in some way that we need to be super cautious of, right? But if anything, I will probably do this off camera. Those small fixes, I can do them off camera, because we will still be doing quite a bit of sculpting in here. This is just to bring everything back into the right place, right? After all of the merging of the scan into one thing, it was still off. It wasn't looking cohesive, and it wasn't looking like the person we were making at all. So this is the stage where we take what we had and we bring it closer to the to the thing that we are making, to the model that we are making, and only after that we can play with the silhouette, play with the forms, play with the stylization, and define what the character is going to look like in the end, what kind of stylization, what kind of techniques we're going to be bringing in here. Okay, so not much to talk about in here, just continuing with the base sculpting. This is not going to be final. I'm not even trying to make it final. This is still trying to align things the best that the best to my ability, and to the best to my I guess idea and just the vision of the person that I'm trying to make. But I guess the biggest thing in here is to, well, what you see here, the exactly thing that I'm doing here is basically to almost hide the bumps, right, quote unquote bumps, those kind of peaks that are muscles on this particular model, which is just to well, if you remember, it's based on scans, right? So what I'm trying to do here is create some kind of a balance. So what I've just seen here is I'm shrinking the lower leg, and this way I'm making, well, it's a stylization in a sense, but it's still me searching for the best form and the best balance of form and silhouette that I can find, that I can get out of whatever it is the driving creativity behind me. So here I'm working on just the silhouette, so I'm always switching to black color, because quite often, because of the material in this application in ZBrush, it just doesn't really allow me to see things as clearly as I want. Right, so I switch to black color, and this way I can work on the silhouette only. Here I'm simply, I'm just shaping the head. This is kind of a standard procedure when it comes to getting the likeness of a particular person. I'm not sure if something has changed. This is the way I've been doing it for 15 years or something like that. The idea here was first using polymodeling. You would just put an image in the background like I do here, and then using polygons you literally just trace the silhouette, the shape of the face, of the head, and this way you capture the likeness. But in ZBrush, because there is an option to see through the whole application, I can just load it in the background, the image, right, and then using some moved brushes or just a standard move brush, I can align things into place. Well, this looks funny. He has a mid-jaw type of a look, and it's quite discouraging actually when I make something like that, because you know what you look for, right, and you even have the guideline literally behind in the background. So it seems like the only thing that you need to do is just align the points, right? Like, for example, the corners of the eyes, the corners of the nose, the nostrils, the mouth, the jawline, and those things, right? And it's kind of, the idea is that everything will just kind of click. But if you look at what I have, it's just, it doesn't click at all. Even though the profile is matching the photo, the front view is matching the photo, right? But it doesn't look anything like Lex at all. So this is the stage where you just need to sit with it, right? That's actually a big part of the whole process. You just have to sit through all of this stuff, and somewhere in the back of the head, you just hope that you will be able to achieve whatever it is that you have in your vision, in the sense that the kind of the object that you have as a vision, that it will come through eventually through all of this process. So doing a little bit of sculpting and a cleanup, trying to capture some of the bigger shapes, the bone structure, the eye lines, the lines under the eyes, the nasolabial, or just, I don't even remember the name for that, the right term for that, but the folds going from the nostrils all the way down to the corners of the mouth. So things like that, right? So this is just a sketching. This is literally what it is. You just sketch and hope that some kind of a likeness comes through, because at this point I'm not trying to make the whole likeness. I just want to have something sitting on the shoulders that resembles at least a little bit the person that I'm trying to make in the end, because if it doesn't, the whole thing just collapses, right? Because you're just making somebody who is not the figure, not the person that you're making. So this is just getting there without spending too much time, right? Because it's even the geometry itself is not even prepared for final sculpt, which is a good thing, because it's the kind of geometry that you want when you want to play. It's almost like clay. And here I'm continuing with that process. Yeah, it helps. It definitely helps to have a somewhat of some resemblance of the person, right, that you're making. And I tend to make the eyes closed on my models at first. It's a very tricky thing to explain, but the eyes, well, I don't even know how to approach the subject. The eyes are everything, right? Even just the other day I was thinking about it again, that every single creature that I can think of, including the, well, maybe nobody calls them primitive, but for the sake of just example, let's call them primitive, like snake or lizard or those kind of animals, creatures, right? All of them, they look into the eyes. They don't look at the legs, at the hands, at things that are moving. They're looking not even at the mouth, right? From at the place where the sound might come from. For some reason, they all look into your eyes. So the eyes, they're just even from that point of view, there's something very, very strange about them going on. And so to be able to capture that in a sculpture, that takes a special kind of talent, I think. And so what I try to do when I'm making a sculpture is that I tend to keep the eyes closed, because my works, they not exactly sculptures really, they kind of sculptures, but they still somewhere in between film and video game industry, at least prior to this new thing that I'm currently doing. not this particular Lex project, but I'm actually doing another project in the meantime. So I tend to keep the eyes of my models closed, because it just somehow it sells the believability of the model better, instead of trying to capture the pupil, the penetration, the light, the scattering of the light, the bending of the light, all of those things, right? You just close the eyes and that's it. And at the same time, it gives some kind of it definitely gives a creepy feeling for sure to the model, because the model is standing and the eyes are closed, so it's just a bit creepy. But there's something mysterious behind it as well, and I do like to keep it that way before I get into like a proper capturing the likeness of whoever I'm making.